Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I want to talk about something that has shaped who I am, the way I think, and how I see the world. I want to share with you the books that changed my mindset. People often say the books can be like windows the other worlds, but for me, the most powerful things about books is how they can open windows inside your own mind. They don't just entertain you. Uh, they challenge you. They challenge you. They push you to question the way you've been living. And sometimes they even give you the courage to change. I'm not here to give you a list of the top 10 books you must read or anything like that. Instead, I want to share my personal journey, how certain books enter my life at the right time, and how they made me see the things differently. The first, the first book is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Let me start with one. Let me start with one of the first books that really shocked my perspective. The Power of Now. When I picked it up, I didn't even expect much. I was just curious, but now the message hit me hard. The book is all about being present, about realizing the the most of our suffering comes not from what's happening right now, but from our talks about the past and the future. Think about it. How often are you actually living in the moment? If you're like me, your mind is usually racing ahead, worrying about what's next, or stuck replying old memories. This book made me realize how much of my energy I was wasting on things I couldn't control. After reading it, I start trying small things like paying attention to my breathing, noticing the taste of my food, or listening more deeply when someone was talking to me. And let me tell you, those little shifts brought me more peace than I expected. The second book is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Another book that completely changed my mindset is Atomic Habits. Before I read it, I used to think change was about massive effort, like going to the gym every single day, or making a complete lifestyle overhaul. But James Clear shows you the real change is about small habits repeated consistently. One of the biggest takeaways for me was the idea of identify based habits instead of just setting setting a goal like I want to get fit. Uh, you shift your mindset to I am a healthy person, and then every small action, choosing water over soda, walking instead of taking a bus, becomes about for that identity. This book didn't give. This book didn't just give me tips. It changed the way I think about who I am becoming. It taught It taught me that success is not about motivation, it's about systems. That's a mindset I still carry with me every single day. The third book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Now, this book is another level. Man's Search for Meaning is written by Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor who lost almost everything. yet found meaning even in suffering. When I first read it, I was shocked not only by the horror he went through, but by his message, by his message that no matter how bad life gets, we still have the freedom to choose our attitude. That idea changed my entire outlook. I realized that why I can't control what happens to me. I can control how I respond, and that is powerful. Whenever I go through to times now, I remind myself of Frank's words. If he could find purpose in the darkest conditions, then I can find purpose in my everyday struggles. The fourth book is The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This Covey. This book is more practical, but still, it had a huge impact on me. Covey, Covey talked about principles like being proactive, beginning with the end in mind, and putting first things first. At first, it sounds like typical self-help stuff, but when I actually start applying it, I notice change in how I approach my life. For example, put first things first. Tell me to stop wasting time on things that don't matter. I start asking myself, it is urgent, or this is important. That simple question saves me from a lot of the a lot of a lot of distraction. I am that simple question saves me from a lot of distractions. And being with the end in mind made me think about where I want to be in 5 or 10 years instead of just reacting to whatever comes my way. It gave me a sense directions of direction. The fifth book, Meditation by Marcus Aurelius, one of the oldest books I've ever read, but also one of the most timeless. Meditation is basically the personal journey of a Roman emperor, emperor, Marcus Aurelius. What struck me is how relevant his words still are, even though they were written almost 2000 years ago. He talks about self-control, about not being a slave to your emotions, about remembering that life is short and that we should use our time wisely. Reading this book made me realize that human struggles haven't really changed. We still face the same doubts, fears, and temptations, and that gave me comfort. If people back then could live with wisdom and discipline, maybe I can too. When I look at when I look at these books together, I see a pattern. The Power of Now taught me about presence. Atomic Habits taught me about small, consistent action. Man's Search for Meaning taught me about resilience and purpose. The Seven Habits taught me about principles and direction. Meditation taught me about timeless wisdom. Each one gave me a piece of the puzzle, and together they build a new mindset for me. You might ask, you might ask, why does mindset even matter? Here's the truth. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world. Two people can go through the same situation, but because of their mindset, they experience it in completely different ways. Books gave me new lenses. They didn't change reality, but they changed the way I interpret reality, and that in turn changed the way I love. The way I live. Final thoughts. So if you're listening to this and you feel stuck or you feel like you're living on autopilot, I encourage you to pick up a book. Not just any book, but a kind of book that challenge you, that speaks to your soul, that makes you pause and think. I'm not saying the books that changed me will be the same book that changed you. We are on- we're all on different journeys, but I do believe that the right book can find you at the right time. And when it does, don't just read it, live it, apply it, let it sink into your daily life, because that's when transformation happens. So, thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope sharing my experience inspired you to find your own mindset changing books. And if you already read something that truly changed your perspective, I love for you I love for you to reflect on it. Maybe even share it with someone else. Who knows? Your story made might be the spark that helps another person grow. So until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep turning the page of life.